Hello guys, how's it going? It's me Martin, and I'm back, and I'm gonna do something I've never done before. I'm gonna say what I thought about the Battlefield 2042 beta, my impressions, what I liked, what I disliked, and all of that. So let's jump right into it and talk about what's most important in this game. The gunplay itself, the movement of combat and shooting is very fun and very good. It's smooth, it's fast, it's fluent, it feels fantastic. Guns feel very satisfying to use and there's no problems with movement. It's quick, it's flawless, and it's just exactly how it has to be. It's more Call of Duty than Battlefield. It feels much more faster than at least when comparing it to Battlefield 1, but it is like still it works in the big Battlefield maps and the way Battlefield works. Also, when gliding through the air or parachuting, that's very well handled. You can hold your gun while parachuting down, and that's really awesome. And that whole like system is really fun to use. And because this is Battlefield, we also have vehicles. You have many land and air vehicles, helicopters, like attack choppers, and tanks and other vehicles with weaponry as such. There's no, water vehicles like boats or ships to use, which there were in Battlefield 1. I don't know if it's only because of this map or if that's just not going to be in the game at all. We'll have to wait and see for that. But if there are no water vehicles, that will be a little disappointing, but it's kind of whatever. But now you also have this really cool call-in system where you can call in vehicles to land on you, and it's very nice and useful, and it really helps because the map is just way too big, but we'll get to the map eventually. Also, riding the vehicles feels smooth. The controls are a little weird, but once you get used to them, it is very satisfying. Now, you also have a lot of different weapons to choose from and classes. And these classes have different abilities. You, of course, have your medic, scout, the repairman, and all of that. But then you also have, like, different characters. One guy has this grapple hook, which I kept for, like, the entire time because that grapple hook is so incredibly useful. It's not. I wish it had a bigger range, but you can like attach yourself somewhere and like glide up, and it's just very useful once you get used to it. You got like a little turret you could put down as another guy, and that turret is very useful at just blasting enemies. But it does get destroyed pretty easily, so it's not overpowered. You also have like a healing medic that like you can heal your teammates and I think yourself also, so that's useful. But then the fourth guy has kind of like a drone that you can fly and mark enemies with, I think, and like do stuff. And that feels like it's more meant for like Rainbow Six Siege or something. Like it doesn't really fit Battlefield, and it's weird. But you know, other than that, the abilities are really cool. Now, let's talk about the map, though. The map, for the most part, is a little a mixed bag, but let's just talk about it. You have a lot of really interesting and well-designed locations. You have this one really tall building. You have like a bunker, a base, like a rocket tower or whatever, and they're all like fun to run around and shoot people and go for cover and all of that, and that's great. But the map doesn't have any stationary weapons anywhere. And what I mean by that is kind of like Battlefield 1. If there's like a helicopter or not, or any like vehicles of any sort, there were always like cannons on the ground that you can go into and use to shoot them down if you didn't really have anything on your character, and they were very useful. But here there aren't really any of that. If there's a helicopter and you just don't have any like rocket launcher or anything to deal with it, then you're just screwed. You just gotta hide. You can't do anything. So I really hope they add in those stationary turrets or like cannons or whatever. Also, the map is way too big. Like, you have all those interesting locations, but in between those locations is just big open space that takes a while to like travel through. And it feels like they really need to like make these maps either smaller or add more like in between these areas. But I think just making the map smaller would be really good, because all the people are in these specific locations and all the in between is just completely empty. So yeah, that's a problem. Maybe the map should be more compact. Also, the one mode we had is Domination. We had the 3 points, And I really like the way that it's made. Like it's A1, A2, B1, B2. You have like 3 points, but you have two parts of those points. That's really cool. Trying to take like both points of that 1 point, or you know what I mean. It's pretty interesting, and I like it. But also, if you're the only one on a single point, like you're trying to take it from an enemy, it's super slow. Like that bar fills up like super slow. If you're not with teammates and you're trying to like capture a point, it's like you're gonna be there for like a real while. So yeah, there's that. Now let's talk about other stuff. The graphics look alright. I mean, it depends. Playing this on a PC, the graphics looked very good for most of the time. But playing this on a console, sometimes the graphics don't load in properly and it can look really bad. And sometimes it does look really good. So if they make it like stable, I think this can look really good. Then you also have the UI. The UI, the like in-game UI, looks good and is like pretty easy to understand. But in the menu, when you're trying to select like a character and the weapons and stuff, it's a little annoying to traverse, and like I feel like it can be changed. Also, there were points in this game where I was either staring at an enemy who I thought was my friend, or I started shooting at an enemy at an ally because I thought they were an enemy. The the icons above the characters, like the red and the blue, need to be like highlighted more, or the outfits of the teams need to be like different, because you just get confused between allies and enemies, and it just really messes you up in like a really fast game like this. Like that needs to be changed around. And also, anytime I entered a new match, my loadout was like reset and I had to equip everything I wanted. Specifically, again, all my attachments and class and all of that. So, I think that's not going to be a problem in the final game, but, you know, I just had to point it out here. But now we get to the elephant in the room, the big problem. The bugs and the overall unpolishment of this game. There are a lot of bugs. It's not like horrible, but there's definitely like a lot. I see a lot of like body physics problems, bodies freaking out and like doing crazy shit. Parachutes like keep appearing and then like we're not supposed to. Like people who already landed or enemies still have parachutes above them. That happened like a bunch. There was a point where I got glitched into a wall and like I had to quit the match because like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't fix it. And I like bugs like that force you to quit out of a match. Those need to be really smoothened out and fixed. And there's just a real overall feeling of this game is very unpolished and probably needs maybe like 6 more months like to be fully polished. But this shit's coming out in like a little over a month. This beta was like October 6th to October 10th, and this game is coming out November 19th. It's like, if this is the state of the game right now, there's not enough time to fix it to where it's like where it should be at launch. Now, I heard somewhere that this is like a very early build, like this doesn't really represent how the game is right now, and I really hope that's true, but it might just be them lying so people don't think this game is going to be a disaster. So that is the biggest concern for this game, the unpolishment, bugginess, and like that this game is going to come out in a really terrible Cyberpunk 2077 kind of state. Let's hope it doesn't. So, this leads me to the conclusion. What do I think? Well, this game is very fun, and I really like a lot about it. And if it does come out not buggy and polished, then I think this is a really great game that a lot of people will really enjoy, and probably one of the best of this year. But if it does come out like really buggy, this is probably going to be another Cyberpunk 2077 where everyone laughs at it and like nobody takes it seriously. Let us hope that most of the problems I mentioned here are fixed, that this game comes out in a smooth form and is very great. Alright, thank you for watching everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye everybody.